Hi, so today we're going to be starting how we're representing an interval on a number line. I have a number line here and it starts from -5. Obviously it just keeps going down with the arrows. I don't know if you can see that, but regardless. So anyway, just here for as an example, it's -5, it goes all the way to 6. And the shaded area in orange is what we're going to look at. Okay, so let's see how we can write this in math language. In English, we would say, oh, -3, because this is a closed circle, is part of the solution, and 2 is part of the solution, and all the numbers in between. That's the way we would say it in English. Now we're going to say it in math language. So I'm going to use this pen actually, just so that you can see it better. Or let me try the pencil. All right. So there's 3 ways that we're going to study today on how to write this in math language. The first way is just writing it as an inequality. Okay? So if we write it as an inequality, it's very simple. You get which is the smallest number here? -3, right? Okay. So we're going to write the smallest number. What's the largest number? 2. We write it on the other side. Now, because this is a flat line, this is part of an x. These are all considered x's. All right? Now, this is the smallest, so x has to be bigger than, and it's a closed circle, so or equal to, x can be -3, bigger than or equal to -3. All these numbers are getting bigger, and it stops at 2. So it includes 2, but it is less than, all these numbers are smaller, and equal to 2. This is writing as an inequality. Now, this is the most basic thing. This is what we learn in middle school, and in Algebra 1 we review it. And this, we're going to now add a few things to it. So we're going to talk about how to do set notation. Set notation. I'm going to write this a little darker. So the set notation is utilizing this piece here. So but here's what we add to it. With set notation, we're going to add what I call these little squigglies and a little squiggly. Okay? It's just a nickname I have. And we're talking about x's. So we're going to say x. Now I'm going to tell you how we say it out loud when we read it from a math book. Such that, this symbol represents such that. And then we just write this piece. Pretty simple. -3, that's our smallest number, and it's included, the biggest number is 2, also included in the solution, and we're talking about x's. X such that -3, 2. Now we put the middle part. The x has to be bigger than and equal to -3, so x is, open mouth to the x, bigger than or equal to -3, and smaller than or equal to 2. And we do it in that order: small, larger, the x in the middle, and the arrows pointing to the left. That's set notation. Now there's another way you may write set notation, which is squiggly line. X is an element of the real numbers. Real numbers are just all the numbers you've basically come in contact to up until Algebra 1. Okay? Everything, decimals, fractions, negatives, positives, whatever it is, they're just not imaginary numbers. So we're going to put a line, and we write the exact same thing. -3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. We have just written inequality, set notation, and the last one we're going to write today is interval notation. Interval notation just tells you where it starts and where it begins. And it's almost like a point, but not. Okay, so what is my smallest? -3. Here we're not going to use the greater than or less than. That's for inequality and set notation. And my larger number is 2. Okay, now, does it include -3? Yes, so we make that a parentheses. If it did not, we would write it as such. I'm sorry, my bad. I mean, it includes, yes, but it stops. So we're going to write it like this. And if it kept going, right, if it kept going in that direction, then we would. So let's just try this out. We're going to make this just like this. It includes -3. Is this a closed circle? Yes, so it includes 2. So we're going to block it off. This is the parameters, -3 to 2, -3 to 2. It's not going out anywhere else. It's just -3 to 2. So we block it in with these squared off, and we put a comma. And that is interval notation. You take your smaller, your larger, you put a comma between them, and if it ends there, right, you block it. And if it's including them, you block it. And that's how you write representing interval on a number line. That's one example.